Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez Stahl. This is Season 7, Episode 12. We are in the final live episode, which is going to be followed by the closing ceremony shortly thereafter. And so we're wrapping up the season with Shannon Johnson. Shannon's been with us in the past. She also has a number of episodes in the Spiritual Intelligence podcast, which you can find on my website as well if you're interested in listening to those conversations. And she and I have been playing in each other's space for quite some time. But we met in this lifetime about 221, I think it was.
2020.
It was 2020, right? So we met in 2020 doing a past life regression class with Scott DeTramble. Scott Fitzgerald DeTramble. I'm forgetting the other one. Yeah, Scott Fitzgerald DeTramble, right? So Scott was teaching a past life regression class, and Shannon was one of the students along with me and a few others. Ana Maria Vazquez, who we had yesterday, was one of those students as well. And so this is how I met those two beautiful women. And it was really through Shannon and Ana Maria that I became really fascinated with channeling, and I wanted to do what they did. And so they're really my inspiration, if you will. And so I'm always excited to have them back, but since I'm speaking with Shannon, always an honor and a pleasure to play with you. Thank you for being here. I will let you introduce yourself, and then we will go from there.
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. I'm Shannon Johnson, Metaphysical Facilitator. I'm a medium, I'm an author, and I just love to play with spirit. This was not the career chosen for me. It was something that came in this later part of my life that I really had to work and explore how to connect and how to use my abilities over the years. So I was one of those people back in the early 90s that had their awakening when I hit 30 years old. And then in 2010, Spirit walked in the door and said, let's get to work. It's time to change what you're doing. So I left the accounting world, which is very black and white, and went into my spiritual businesses. And I'm a massage therapist, I'm a Reiki master, and a healer. I love to explore and learn, and I love to share the wisdom that I've learned over the centuries of lifetimes that I keep remembering, and help others be able to have more joy and fun in their lives, because being human is quite an interesting roller coaster to be on. And so sometimes we need to remember more of our soul self, so that way we can enjoy the ride and not be so caught up in the everyday trauma and drama that comes along the way.
Shannon, can I ask you to do me a favor? And you're going to love this request.
Yeah.
There's something funky with the microphone. Can you put on your other headset and see if that corrects itself? And so I'm just going to speak to the audience while you're doing that.
Okay.
And so I'm going to mute you for a moment, okay?
Yeah.
So Shannon has a headset that she likes, and the sound's a little bit tinny for me. So I had a session with her husband once, and I went, oh, I like this headset. And so I've asked Shannon to use his headset because it has better sound quality. But as you could tell, the sound was really muffled. So Shannon has a book, and the link is in the description of the session, where she channels a collective that she refers to as the Cool Council. And it is an incredible book. If you haven't read it, if you haven't come across it, it's an incredible book, and I reference it all the time. There's still things that I talk about that I learned while reading that book. And it's just a wonderful book that I would highly, highly recommend. And let me give you the name of it for those that aren't near the computer. No. What is this? There we go. That's the one that I want. Shannon. Stones of Wisdom from the Cool Council. And I do have a link in the website for it, but I might not have a link in it depending on the platform that you're listening to. But in any case, if you do a search for Shannon Johnson in Amazon or anywhere else, it'll come up. Stones of Wisdom from the Cool Council. Wonderful book. Highly recommend it. Can you unmute yourself and start talking and seeing if that's better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's much better. Something weird with that microphone. So.
And it hasn't been out of the drawer since the last time we used it.
Yeah.
But I heard you talking about the book. I did bring a copy to be able to show and share everybody. This is the Stones of Wisdom from the Cool Council. It was released in 2019, and they informed me today that we're going to release an Audible for its 5-year anniversary, which will be 2024. I released it November 11th, 2019, in Kindle and print version. That's a book that took 4 years of trans-channeling. And that was my introduction to the Cool Council. Mm-hmm.
So I've already kind of picked up on your speech pattern that it's a little slurred. So I assume that they want to come forward as quickly as we allow them, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of have a conversation before we do that. So you let me know. You let me know when it's appropriate for us to jump into that. So I would love to just kind of get your perspective on expanding as an advanced, call it an advanced student of spirituality, and expanding as a beginner in spirituality. The reason that I bring this up is Shannon is doing a course next year, which is pretty much year-long, and it's incredibly accessible. It's unbelievably accessible for the amount of content that she's going to share. And it's designed for both the advanced practitioner and the new practitioner. And so I wanted to kind of get your perspective on both of those perspectives, because there's some people on this conversation that have a lot of experience, and there's those that are just joining us and know very little.
Yes. So for a lot of this is a remembering that's going on. And so some of us, we got put into the trail a little sooner than others. And right now we're in a period of time that the energy is so tangible in accessing and working on ourselves in order for all of these dormant parts of ourselves that are kind of sleepy, but they're ready to wake up. So the course is being designed for the full range of explorers, because we're all able to help one another learn new things or rediscover things that we've known in other lifetimes, or that our soul brought along with us from the databanks of the Akashic to be able to access in this lifetime. So the expansion for the new traveler, it's going to help you bring things into life that you may have thought, oh, I could never do that. Or, gosh, I really like what they do, but I don't know how to work these things into my everyday life, right? Working with spirit is working with your soul. It's just another spirit, right? So the advanced traveler has learned a lot of how to connect, how to work with those tools. And this is going to help them to integrate even more parts of themselves into the now. And they can then expand in different areas of their human life as well as their spiritual adventure in more ways than they had realized was available. Many of us are brought to one tool that we're very comfortable with. And some of the others we look at and we're like, gosh, I really don't have an affinity for that. But this isn't a play situation because Spirit wants us to have joy and fun when we're connecting. So this is going to help the advanced traveler be able to explore parts of yourself that you hadn't seen before. And it's going to help the new traveler to find parts of themselves that they thought were there or kind of shadowed over. Maybe they were parts put in a closet or they never thought existed. And the course is called Stepping into Spirit. It's going to be very energy-based. It is got science, spirituality, laughter, a lot of fun, and there will be a lot of interaction going on. I don't stand there and just lecture because that's not the way that I like to teach, and I like Spirit to be very involved in the classes. So there'll be very interactive, some personal hands-on. You'll get to know more of your team members and including your loved ones that have passed, furry animals that are there. Everything within the course is designed to help you in the human life as well as the spiritual life. So it's going to be able to give that expansion in whatever way is going to work for you. And even bring things to the table that you might want for later, or maybe you rediscover something you learned in the past and went, yeah, and you set it off, and now it's a new discovery. So that's what they have brought to the table for next year for me to work with and to help others. And so I'm really hoping we have some wonderful spiritual travelers to join into the class. It'll be 6 months of teaching and 6 months of mentoring. So I don't just send you off out the door and go, go have fun. We'll be having 6 months of mentoring where you get to come in if you want to do a business, if you want to, if you're struggling with expanding on something, if there's areas that you learned about that you still have some more curiosity and need to delve into more. That's where the mentoring side of it is going to be even more tangible for you, the learner, because we're all learners in this together. I'm not just the instructor, I am also the student along with you. Because I like to let Spirit drive the bus a lot.
And for those of you that enjoy the interaction that Shannon and I have, I will be joining as much as I can throughout the course as well. And Shannon knows me as being a very interactive participant. And so I am happy to share my own experiences as well. And we kind of play off of each other a lot. And so it's a lot of fun to be a participant in her programs. So it'll be a lot. It's going to be an incredible project to play with and to invite us all to expand our own consciousness in ways that we can't even imagine. And so thank you, Shannon, for that description. To the listeners, I want to apologize about the sound quality on Shannon's side. We've never had this issue with the sound being as it is. It's better with this microphone than the other one, but it's still not quite very good, and there's nothing we can do about it. So bear with us.
I'm so sorry.
And we apologize. We can blame the energies that are around and say that it's their fault, because she said there was a lot of energies around her. So we'll blame them and say it's their fault. Eric, it's your fault, my friend.
There you go. Yeah, because I usually don't have this much problem with it.
I've never, in any time that we've had conversations, it's never sounded like this. But anyway,
okay.
People are saying that it does sound, they can hear you perfectly fine and it sounds okay enough. So we're good.
Awesome.
Excellent. Awesome. So
yeah. You have any questions left? Because I'm going to be going out in a minute.
I was going to say,
actually, they want to kind of. Go ahead.
They want what?
Like, what do you got?
I was going to ask you if there's anything that you would like to say before they kick you out, because I can already tell they're kicking you out.
I know it. That's weird. I don't know.
All right.
I can't even put it together at the moment.
Yeah.
They want to.
So is it okay if I talk while you connect?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Shannon has this really playful team, and I say that they're kicking her out. And this is a playful description of it. They're not literally kicking her out, but they are so... They were part of the inspiration that I had for creating this platform, because I could tell their enthusiasm for coming forward when we would be speaking with Shannon in kind of a private conversation, a small group setting. Their team was so animated and excited to speak that they would literally start to interfere with their speech pattern, like they just did now. And so that was part of my inspiration for creating this platform and giving Spirit a voice and an opportunity for them to share and come into this experience with us, and to kind of hold our hand, and for us to hold their hand while we travel together in this experience. Because though they are in their space and we are in our space, they're with us and we're with them more than we recognize and realize. We're traveling together. Their growth, they're growing through us as much as we are growing through them, or with the help of them. And so it's a collaboration between both, call them sides of it. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
It's lovely to have us here today. We're very good.
So,
thank you.
I know who I'm speaking with, but for the benefit of those that are listening, can you introduce yourself to us?
I am it is a pleasure to meet you. I am with the Cool Council. There will be 2 speakers today.
In addition,
Leilani will also be coming in, yes.
Leilani, who's that?
You have not been able to meet Leilani yet. Leilani is on the Cool Council. Leilani represents the multi-universe lives from the Akashic Records. So most of the Cool Council, we had come together because you all are earthlings currently. Yes. And Leilani represents your multidimensional selves, the other lifetimes off planet that all of you have interacted. We chose the topic today, expansion of the universe through the expansion of self. And we felt it would be a good opportunity to bring her forward as well today, because she represents all of your multi-selves in the other dimensions, in the other universes. So I will speak, she will speak, and then I will return to complete the session. We have much to do today. Are we good? Is everyone settled?
We are good. I am going to remove myself from the screen. Feel free to interact with me whenever necessary, okay?
Wonderful, wonderful. Please pay attention to our timing, though, because we get a little distracted. And if there are any questions during the session, please pause us. Please pause us. So, are we ready? Because in today's session, not only is it our topic to talk about, but each of you granting a permission from the self. And if you are uncomfortable with it, we will hand this over to your higher self to do it for you when you're ready. But everyone will receive a little tune-up today as well. Because why just talk about expanding yourself when we can also help you do a little bit of it, correct? It's so. Many of you have been on a journey for such a long time, including other lifetimes, where you are completing lessons about who you are inside, who you've always been, and who you are becoming and growing into. And it's a really good time, since your planet is going through an expansion yourself, that the human on the planet also needs to go through an expansion. Your human body is created as a mini Earth on the Earth. So everything is an ecological circle on your planet. And we have this on other planets as well. So it's a wonderful little tool to work with now in the human form. And when you go into another lifetime on one of the other planets, you'll be able to utilize this tool again, because it's in your memory banks already on how to be able to expand the self, the energetic self, within a physical form, because you are evolving with your planet's evolution. Everything from your animals down to the little cockroach and those little ugly bugs that she doesn't like down in the grass, to the elephant, the giraffe, the stars in the sky, the clouds, the trees, the grass, the plants, the flowers, and you. Everything is in an evolution of change. And it's a beautiful change that's going on. So keeping yourself in a little tight cocoon, it only gets you so far. Now, we want you to understand that that cocoon is a protective layer that most of you chose to work with when you first came into your human form, because it kept you safe from the fears of failure that you have experienced in other lifetimes. Now you are in a period of time that breaking those cocoons free, dropping those other fears down to the side. I didn't say you let them go now, did I? We said you drop them down to the sides, and this allows an expansion of yourself to discover more in all of the layers of who you are than you had before. You see? So when you expand, whether it is expanding your breath, right? I want to take you on a little adventure. When you expand the breath, you expand the cells. You expand through oxygen. You expand your blood. This is something tangible in your mind. It is an easy item to understand. So if we can take this concept, the simplification of how the breath expands the blood, this will help you to understand it into context of expanding humanity to expand the universe. Think of yourself as just another cell within the blood system, but you're mighty and you're strong, and you fight all the bad things that come your way as you flow along in that river of warmth within a body so simple. You can think of yourself as the cell that is doing this work. It is easy to give it power. You know it fights disease. You know it can push and expel the muckiness. It has power and strength in its simplicity, does it not? You, as a human being, within the sea of humans on the planet, are still that strong self. It's gorgeous. You are gorgeous in that purity, that strength that it has. And the more that you build upon yourself, in who you are, not what the world wishes to define you as. You build and expand that self energy stronger. That allows the expansion of the universe on that same level. Now, taking that simplification, we're going to take you all on a small adventure, expanding you, expanding us, and expanding the universe. So we would like you all to close your eyes for just a moment and let your imagination step forward and play with all of us. Take a nice deep breath, bringing that in, filling your belly like a great big Buddha, and slowly letting that breath out. And as you continue this beautiful breath work, the council and the master healers who work with each of you on a soul level will be stepping forward. The divine holds much, and we will be bringing more in for each of you. If you are uncomfortable again, we reiterate, we will allow your higher self to hold as much as you need. And if you need it in a drip line, darling, you do that. It's up to you to receive. And as you take your breaths, we will be weaving in the golden divine light. We bring this in from the half of Sisters Galaxy. The golden ray will be flowing in from head to toe. And as we push this energy in and through, we will be bringing it all the way in to your planet's core from this Gaia 2. Because as we said, you are part of her, and you are her universe. So as this beautiful golden light is coming into your beings, into the breath, we bring this light down into the cellular levels. And next breath, the violet flame, the breath of gold through the violet flame will be dropped in. Beautiful. Now, we're going to bring in the silver flow. Silver is an energy which is very much moved to the planet of Earth, to Gaia's energy. Her soul has a beautiful silver within it. And we weave this in together into your beings, into the cellular layers. Weave this beautiful web, radiant the light, gold, violet, and silver. Beautiful. Take one more deep breath for us. In through the noses and hold for 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. And let that beautiful energy drop all the way into your body, down to your toes, into your planet's core. Miss Gaia is very welcoming to receive the blessings you are all sending into her. We also have master healers who will be weaving this deeper in directly to Mother Earth to assist all of the plants and the other life forms so you don't have to work so hard. We are together. See, we need the expansion of you, the expansion of her. Yeah. Beautiful. What a light. We send this beautiful bond light into each of your hearts. Each of you feels joining now when you listen later. This beautiful ball of light is a gift of energy. It is for your soul to interweave it into your being. And as you choose, you will be able to build an expansion of energy in however it will best work for your physical human life. Are you needing to feel more love from us? That ball of light will give that to you. Because it is you and us. Thank you so much for allowing us to transmit this beautiful light within you and Miss Gaia. And I will be back and return in just a moment. We will allow Miss Leilani to now step forward and bring you a message from the multiverse and the multi-universe, which is all of you. Gratitude.
Thank you, An. Hello, Leilani.
I'm a little nervous. I don't usually talk in front of humans.
Well, it's an
I'm
honor
going to
and
use more
welcome.
of her I will use more of her to help relate messages that we would like to convey today. The full council is present and assisting as we wish to bring forward the message of all of the universes that are helping your universe and helping you. The more that you understand that your soul is one of the most gorgeous pieces of light that ever existed, you can understand that there is more beyond what you look at in the mirror. And then, as you begin to accept this truth into your heart, the other parts of you that are in multiple universes begin to come together and shake hands. This is important because your planet is expanding the energetic access. The humanoid is not quite destroying the veil. It is that it is remembering beyond what the veil individually created. Each of you chose, when you were with us in the Akashic Records and looking at this time frame of the planet's development, and many of your other lifetimes on other worlds were being accessed in how does that beautiful connection of unity work elsewhere, and bringing that energy into the humanoid is a great task that you all spent great time on. So there are parts of you that you have yet to tap into that are from your multiple selves in other places that have information to help you navigate the creation of the new homeostasis on your world. Other members of the council have mentioned that the planet's evolution will happen with or without the humanoid. So you all are working to expand the humanoid to be able to go into its next stage on the planet. You all, the way shows, because many of you know how this is possible from the lifetimes you have access to in the other dimensions and in the other universes. And this is why, since that is my specialty in the Akash, is working on those type of lifetimes in integrating, crossbreeding the informational lines into the human data ports. Since I don't incarnate very often as a human, I don't have very good references. I use different words. So your data ports, also your geopods that you programmed when you came in, have information ready for you to access. This is why we wanted to do the exercise that we just had on complete. As that energy continues to integrate into the cellular level of the humanoids, those of you present today, those of you present listening to the recordings, it is going to help the remembering and the accessing of that information from the other universal selves of you, linked to your current life. Let me re-specify that. The ones that are linked to the current life. Because, see, sometimes people go, humans are very, very stuck on structures of words. So, for me to say, the lifetimes in all of your universes, it can get run amok. That is why we are being specific. It is the ones that are linked to the you of now. This is the energy that will give you what you are feeling dissatisfied with as the human in the current time, because the energy is so much like crud. Is that your word? That's your word. Crud. So this breaking open of the new geode information that has been waiting for you is going to allow you to take those steps that you've been waiting for in expanding you. Yes.
Leilani, can I ask a question?
Yes.
This question is for the benefit of others that have a similar experience to mine, which is, I go through these transformations, these downloads, these experiences of expansion, and on the back end, I don't consciously recognize any difference. I know that something's happening. I know that something's being done, but I don't see the immediate result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so is there something that you can share that would help those of us that can easily fall into the doubt of our journey and of our path, where we don't see the changes as superficially as we would like?
Understanding. Humanoids like to see, you are taught that everything, in order to have a result, there must be a action that is you can touch, tangible. That's what tangible. When this type of work is happening to you, when you are having the upgrades and the downloads, understand a download is also an upgrade. And it's always going to start on the energetic level, slowly to integrate into the human physical form. There's currently, the human form is going through a DNA adjustment and activation on levels for receptivity on larger scales. To make it in your face disrupts on a cellular level. We must always honor the physical form that you have taken first, and work that is done, transmissions received, must go through a weaving into the fabric of the being. So, for instance, your human brain currently can only handle the activation of 10% of its matter for functionality as a human. We're going to use this analogy. If a download were to come in and activate 50% of that material within a 24-hour period, it would create a break within the systems that are all operating for functionality of the full conduit. So downloads, transmissions come in, and it is on an energetic level to then allow the physical form to slowly integrate it into the molecular cellular levels so that it doesn't break the machine. Does that make it sensible?
It makes perfect sense. Thank you very much. And one of the reasons
I prefer crystalline beings. That's where my specialty is. They have a different alignment. So the more crystalline that is within a form can actually have a faster expansion because of that type of energy. Humanoid form is a very soft. It really was one of our major creations of complexity that we were all very proud of. So that's why they have to be much more careful in how we activate and integrate.
So this, there's something that I want to share as a comment, and there's a follow-up question to this. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because it's very easy for us to say, oh, I'm not changing, I'm not changing, I'm not changing, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. But the change that happens in our day-to-day is so incremental that we don't notice it. And then by the time that something happens, we rarely attribute it back to, oh, this was November 14th at 5 whatever where this transmission happened. It's because of that. We rarely are able to attribute it to that. The change will happen kind of behind the scenes without you even realizing it and recognizing it. And so this is the reason that I wanted to bring that up.
Yes.
But you bring up the idea of a crystalline body. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community here on Earth that talk about how our bodies are being upgraded into a crystalline form.
Well, they're not the same. It's not the same. If you were to see the life form that I specialize as, I like to present as, and many of you have incarnated on that particular planet. Our eyes are much more like multifaceted glass, large crystals. But the body itself, it has a more wiry and rubbery type of skin. So the perception of crystalline in human context and some of the other type of crystalline beings that we all incarnate as is very different, because each type of body is created for the atmosphere that it's within. So the one that I like to present as, that environment has like no oxygen that an Earth planet has. We don't have a need for a mouth We don't use lungs. It's completely different. It would, most humans would probably look at that planet and think it was like Mars, kind of ugly. But it's beautiful when you're in the environment and the spatial planes that those beings are in. It's beautiful. So there's different contexts of what the different forms of crystalline beings are. For the human, what's happening is that the humanoid is getting activations in the DNA programming that will allow the mental body to have an expansion of its abilities. So where the 10% will change to 15, where the clear abilities become normal, and other attributes that the human intelligence has yet to explore will be activated. Because some of these attributes you had in other forms when you had other types of civilizations on your planet many millennia ago. And now we are reintroducing them in minute amounts to bring in a new form of dynamic for incarnations on this planet. Many who are ready to incarnate here that will be new to the earth experiences. Excuse us, this is very interesting. Not used to that. Will end up needing a different type of needs a different form. It needs changes in the human form to be able to give the experiences that the advancement of the civilization can bring to the table. Did that make any sense?
It does. It makes perfect sense. But again, just for language clarity, because as we always talk about, different people will use the same word for different meanings. And just to kind of clarify this, when people are referring to our human body being upgraded into crystalline form, from your perspective, with your language, what would that mean?
That would mean that you actually are using your energetic body as the primary engager onto the facade of the physical form. There's also the expansion of energetic access that the mental body will be able to have receptivity of. So currently, right, when you guys are planning a lifetime for a human, you look at how much density of the dimensional planes your physical being, your individual physical being, will be able to access. This is your veil, your personal veil. The change is that they will not be, the veil will be like a 2%, not a 75%. Which is then allowing that energetic self to be much more in the forefront, interconnecting what humanoids perceive as the crystalline to the physicality of a human meat suit.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so I derailed your direction, so I'll allow you to go back.
Was there any other questions?
I don't see any questions from the people that are with us live. Was there anything else that you wanted to say that I derailed you away from?
No. No. We just want to reiterate the important part that you, the individual, when we sat together, some of you are volunteers from the other universes. And we want to acknowledge this today in a very vocalized moment, because there are a large group that are in struggle. They are having issues understanding the complexity that the humanoids have in the present time, the lack of acceptance of self, the lack of acceptance of one another. It feels like their heart is torn in two and their soul doesn't know what to do. How does it mend it back together? They are in a point of wanting to douse the mental body in as many destructive ways possible to silence it from what it is seeing, because it does not understand from a soul level this old suit you're wearing. You know, it's like, oh, one of those smelly old man suits, you know. It's been sitting in the box for a long time, right? And it gets smelly. There is a large group of the population right now feeling like they're very smelly. And it is because you are frustrated with where the world is right now and where it needs to go, because you are not used to the human density here. So the expansion of the universe is coming from you, our volunteers, the ones who said, we will help humanity make this change. We know you're uncomfortable in a human body. We know you're uncomfortable trying to push through the muck that is so thick in the air. So today, we want to acknowledge them. And in this, we acknowledge every one of you, because it is often spoken in the spiritual communities of the volunteers from the other planets, the other dimensions, the other universes, the sacrifices that they made to come and help humans, to come and help Mother Earth and the trees and the plants and the elephants. But your societal density is making you feel like you're choking. And that is why the self-soothing has been coming up more often and more often. There are many of you who have relatives, friends, co-workers, that you're seeing the destruction on the inside. It's almost like you look at them and suddenly the glass of the facade of who they are shatters in front of you. and you see the brokenness inside. They don't know how to navigate this, because those who come here often, you are the experts in human. They are the experts in transmuting and reconfiguring your planetary explorations. So the two need to come together. This is important. We ask you, in your energetic work, if you cannot do it human to human, do it soul to soul. If you are unsure, then you do as we did today. You request the higher self, or you request the soul self to take that which you are sharing and store it for them, for the soul to take when it is ready to use it. This is slow, energetic expansions that change everything on the planet, in the Milky Way, and beyond. And bear in mind that everything that each one of you does in your exploration and experiences is of value. There is no failure. There is no failure. That is a belief system that humans like to use as a tool over you. But as the universe, as the beautiful God you are, there is no failure. Every time that you allow yourself to connect in the ways that work for you and interlink that energy out into all that is around you and into every being in your planet, you do not have to like the personality that they currently are. That's not your job. Don't judge it. Anchor the energy. Anchor it. And not only does it serve the larger, it serves you every time. And when you return home and you look with us at the plan you laid out and all that you accomplished, those beautiful moments that you held the space and anchored the energy of change, anchored the energy of who you are as a soul into this beautiful grid of light. You're going to see how much you have helped millennia forward on the planet. And not just that, but how you helped the millennia of who your entire soul is throughout all of the universe as you explore. Nothing is ever lost. It is never broken, and it's never forgotten. Because it's all a treasure that helps every one of us. God, the universe, the planets, the suns, yeah, that plural, It's on purpose. Yours isn't the only son. So just as sometimes you look out in your yard and you see the ant mound and you think of how small those little ants are, they accomplish and they can carry and they can do more in that tiny little body, right? You are that a million times over as the expansive soul that you are. I am about to depart and let come back in for us. Is there anything else before I leave?
No, Leilani, thank you very much. I can always ask on when she comes back.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you've shared.
We're grateful to be back.
Thank you very much. Let me know when you're ready.
Leilani left us a beautiful little space. How are we doing on our time?
We've got about 20 minutes since I started late, and knowing Shannon and myself, we can always go a little bit longer if needed. Are you ready for some questions?
Yes.
So there's a couple of things that I would like to bring in before I mention Carly's. A lot of people talk about the appreciation and gratitude to those of us that are here that have come from other dimensions, other planets, other experiences to help us in this transition. And sometimes it gets lost, the appreciation that exists for those of us that are coming from here to help us in this expansion. And so I just want to mention this because, for those of us that love this planet, that have been in this planet for a long time, and that are experts in this planet, we bring a lot of value as well. And it's equally as important for us to be here, as they were saying, because we are the ones that are helping to anchor. We're the ones that are helping to lead and to guide and to support in areas that those that are new to our dimension and to our density are struggling to align with and to connect with, because they're so familiar. Their instincts are so different from ours.
Yes.
So that was just a little comment from me for everybody. So here's a question for you. There's an element where, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's an element where we as physical form are the ones that are at the front line. And though you guys do a lot on your end to help us, it seems to me like you need us in order to do the work. And I'll give you an example of that. The meditation, the guidance that you shared with us earlier was a transmission where others were weaving in healing for the planet, and it was being done through our meditation, through our humans. And so I wanted to kind of bring this up again to highlight the importance that we are here and the value that we bring to the plate, and also the role that we play in this relationship with spirit and with Gaia. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you brought that up. Because, yes, you are the warriors. You are the workers. We, as souls, we can only do so much as an energetic being. We already went through those adventures with the planet, helping it to get created, helping all of the different life forms and evolutions that have gone on. We've even had times of assisting the planet to go ahead and not self-destruct. It was more of a self-cleanse. And that gave a nice little reset for a couple civilizations to goof off the place. But truly, no matter what we request or put forward in motion as souls, it is those that are in the physical form that are the executioners to it. You know, we can all sit up here in the booth and plan all the plays, but we are still only the coaches. You have to have the players on field to execute them. And bear in mind that every planet that the souls incarnate on, that is the execution of the plays that we've all been talking about. And so it's not just a universal exploration and development for on a soul level, but for our creations as well. You have to work with the tools that are associated with that existence, right? If I wanted to okay, so a Palladian, right? If I want to, as souls, we want to put a new plan of action in on Palladia, we're going to work through the Palladians, the people, and its environment, because those are the tools that are created for that existence. Earth has humans as its currently as its actuators. I was going to say its most intelligent being, but that's not correct because there's some other life forms on your planet that are smarter than you, and you don't like to hear that. So,
but we are, like you were saying, we are a very important activator on this planet, and that is one of the species. You know, we are one of the species that are used for this kind of communication and this kind of transmission energetically.
Yes. So you see, you have to understand though too, it's not just the humans that are being activated. Everything on the planet is going through an evolution. The animals, the plants, the trees, the rocks, the grass, the water, everything is going through a recalibration of what it is. So it's not just the human that's changing. The human has to change in order to keep up with the changes that everybody else is doing. And yes, we, as a collective, you guys made the agreement to come down and do the work, and we would help from this perspective. And if you guys decide to instead take 3 steps backward and go play hop, skip, and a joint over here, we're going to go ahead and do that. Because we love to play and explore. And free will is a universal law. It's not just a human law. It is a universal law for all of us. So, yes, we're trying to help you and nudge you, just like a mother with a toddler, and you're holding on to the little tips of the fingers to help them toddle onto their feet and walk. We've let go of the hands. You're toddling on your own. If you fall on your ass, you do. We'll help you pick it back up. But all of the work has to be actualized by physical forms that are on the planet, just like when you want to change things on your human form, you have to make changes on the physical. All parts of yourself are interconnected in order for that change to take effect. So it's the same thing for anything we do planetary. All parts of it have to be cohesive in the agreement for the change to actuate. And we know some of you are going to be frustrated saying, you know what, I didn't see enough of that in this lifetime. It was all bullshit. It's not, because you have to understand it is a collective movement. Humanoid are a spoke in the wheel of the collective movement of change on your planet. You are not the front runner. You're not the damn bunny chasing and racing with the tortoise. Been there, done that. You are pacing yourselves. We are pacing you as well. And sometimes you like to go off on little tangents, and that's okay, because it's fun exploration for us. And we help you come back to center and reroute back into that energy, and we get a couple more steps forward. Discouragement is really a human attribute that gets projected onto the spiritual realm, that you're not doing it fast enough, or you're not doing it correctly, or whatever. That is a projection of your expectations of yourselves that you put out onto the universe. And we always go and pop that little bubble and then remind you that you are the greatest explorer. You are the greatest change we could create. And there's no wrong move, because we learn from all of it, and we will navigate and make the twists and turns along with you as needed. But the more that we begin to work through you, because you open up and say, yes, let me add to that energy of myself and anchor in this universal development of energy that you can build from, then we are all succeeding in the adventure.
Beautiful. Thank you. And so there's a question from Carly, and Carly, feel free to put in the message what this refers to, because I'm not familiar with this. She says, I am wondering, what is ASMR? Is it higher entities stimulating our crown chakra? Curious about what is happening here, as I find it very nice. Are you familiar with that reference?
Yeah.
Carly, can you give us a little more information about what is ASMR?
It's basically this sensation where it's like your brain is tingling. Some people like to refer to it as ASMR, it stands for autonomous sensory motor response or something, but other people refer to it as attention-induced head orgasm.
That sounds nice.
And it's like, I mean, it's something that's happened, you know, like sometimes when I've been modeling and the teacher's talking about me, I've got these waves of pleasure. You know, sometimes when a fortune teller's trying to, you know, persuade me to have a reading, I've got it. I recently had it with a life coach, and I'm wondering, like, what's going on here? Like, what does it mean? You know, like, it could even be described as like better than sex, you know, it's very nice, but is it like some kind of sign from an angel that you should trust this person? Or you're just wondering, like, energetic means?
Yes. Yes. And so, yes, those are the electrical system getting stimulated, usually by your guide, to give you the indication that this is correct, this is a positive direction, or to also indicate that what you're thinking and sensing, to move with it. So, for instance, our channel, when she does a reading, she'll often tell her clients, please understand, she does not have lice, because the more that they begin to talk, the scratchier her head gets, and she gets very scratchy. Yeah. But we're channeling, you see, we are trance channeling, and so we're not quite doing that effect to her in the same reception. When she's doing a reading, she's using much more of her clairaudience and her clairvoyance. And so sensations on the physical body are receptors, energetic receptors saying, yes, you know, like you'll have, oh my goodness, you said that, I got chills on my arms, the hair stood up. That is an energetic response of, yes, my body is responding to this energetic field in an energy response of yes. Now, you'll also know that there's other times that you'll be getting this kind of tickle, but it's not feeling that orgasmic tickle. It's feeling kind of ew. And that is, as you begin to differentiate the different sensations, allows you to know that, ooh, yeah, this one I need to step back from. Not a good situation, or not a positive receptivity of what is being received, but you're there in the moment to also allow your energetic body to differentiate what feels right and what doesn't. These indicators will become more and more active the more that you begin to acknowledge them with your team of, thank you, yes, I received that, I understand. You'll move forward. Other times you'll go, yes, thank you, I received that. That was that yucky one. Okay, I'm changing my direction. And so this is the best way when you figure that your guide team are all energetic beings around you. How else would they love to come up and get your attention? Because, you know, the human doesn't quite like to be electrocuted. They really don't. They get a little pissy about that. Does that answer for you?
Yeah, that does. Thank you. Thanks very much. Yeah, I was very curious about that.
The more you play with it, the more you're going to find that your guide gives different directives in different areas of your body, the more that you communicate with him. You have a gentleman as your primary guide. He's stepping forward with us today, and he wants to let you know, darling, that he's been trying to talk to you in your dreams, but sometimes you think he's a man trying to pick you up, and you just shoot him out the door. And so he would like to talk to you a little bit more, because the expansion of your abilities is right on the tip of your tongue. It's right there. And all of those people that you're talking to, you can do the same thing. But he's ready for you to be able to work a little more one-on-one And so he says, just give him a call. You can always shout out for Harry, and he'll just pop in for you.
Harry.
Harry.
Yeah.
And so, Carly, one thing that I'll mention to you, and this is for everybody, one of the things that I'm learning throughout my own process as well, and I've heard stories from Shannon as well about this, is fundamentally we need to trust our own discernment. Even if spirit says something, or we feel that spirit is saying something, it's up to us to determine what is the appropriate next step for us. So if I get a signal, I'm like, oh, well, spirit said I need to go do this, but that doesn't feel right to me. But that's the signal that I'd like, but it doesn't feel right to me. Go with the feeling that doesn't feel right, not with the signal that normally feels right. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you hear the distinction in that?
Yeah, I mean, this was quite relevant for me today because I don't know, I ran out of coffee yesterday and then it was raining today. So I was like, oh, I'll go later when it stopped raining. And it got quite late in the day. And I was a little bit like, should I have coffee at this point in the day? You know, like thinking, because I've recently quit smoking again, and I had some kind of insomnia, withdrawal, etc. And so I used my pendulum, and I sort of asked God or whoever, and I said, should I have coffee now? And I got like I think it was like, yeah, like a sort of no answer. Like it wasn't exact no. And then I said something like, because it wasn't really a clear answer. I was like, does that mean I should get coffee? And again, I didn't get a clear answer. And I was like, does that mean I should just make up my own mind about whether or not I should have coffee? And then finally I got a yes. And I was like, okay. You know, and then I thought, you know what, it's too late in the day. I'm not going to do it. I don't think it's a good idea.
That's beautiful. I mean, my pendulum will, I got to a point with my pendulum where it won't give me a yes or a no. And it just gives me a nothing. So I get a yes when it's counterclockwise and a no when it's clockwise. And when it moves straight up and down, it's like, I'm not going to answer you.
Normally say like, can you spin for yes and can you swing for no? Like that's how I try to get it to communicate.
Yeah. So
I struggle with indecision, and I am trying to develop my super conscious mind, so that was really good advice what you said.
Yeah, I mean, what happens to us, and I had a conversation with my sister about this as well, is as we start looking in the spiritual direction, part of that journey is to become more sensitized to the idea of following the energy. We develop a greater capacity for understanding the signals, understanding the sensations, understanding the messages, and our discernment then becomes more attuned. And this is part of most of our spiritual journeys, is part of that process. And so trust that you will get better at it. Trust that the more conscious you are of looking for clarity, that clarity will come.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, sometimes it's about setting intentions and being consistent with that.
And being patient with yourself as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Carly. So the next comment question is from Cheryl. And Cheryl, I've got my own thoughts about this as well, but I'm curious on what Anna is going to say. Cheryl says, I always thought, more so when I was younger, that I was in an odd place that felt like I didn't belong. Is that what you were saying about feeling uncomfortable and not feeling like belonging here?
Yes. Yes. So understand that when we talk about the volunteers that came compared to those that frequent the planet, we're going to use the channel as a comparison. So our channel has been on this planet more times than she would really like to know about. But she specializes on this planet. It is part of her soul work outside of incarnating. So for me to say that she has a bank of over 500,000 lives on Earth besides the multi, we won't talk about those. It would really make her feel like her hair is very more gray than it is. So, but then you have others like yourself who have a good 30 lives on Earth. You see, 30 seems like such a little boop in the timeline when you think of 500,000. So the souls who are very frequent on this planet, working with it in multiple different layers, they're very comfortable here. Nothing very much surprises them anymore, even though there's always a little blip here and there, where someone like yourself, who you have more of a handful of lifetimes on Earth, and you guys all said, yeah, we'll go there, we'll do that. You feel disoriented. And many of them have felt very lonely as children. And perhaps this is you as well. So please add into the comments and let me know in just a moment. But there's often as the child, because the child self in the humanoid form is still energetically connected up until about the age of 7. That is when the amnesia veil density that you decided, the percentage you wanted to work with, finally integrates into the energetic layer of the being. So the child self will often feel very alienated, lonely, sad, depressed, speaking about other types of beings, other types of things, feeling like humanity feels so foreign to them, and the concepts that they talk about are just, oh. These are clues to the individual that this is not the place that you are really at home at. But you agreed that you have such valuable tools in the soul energy that you are to help all of these different layers of beings throughout many types of dimensional planes to expand and grow. And you have to understand, it's not just that the planet and humanity and everything, these are also creating different types of valuable experiences that your soul hadn't been able to quite perfect in the other realms. Because you have to understand that every planet that your soul likes to incarnate on, they all have such different type of attributes and experiences and explorations that sometimes that uniqueness of a place, you know, like you get that flavor for a certain type of food, you know, and you're like, where is that spice? And you're looking for it, and then you're like, oh, I'll go to Earth. That's where they have the curry, and I can go and have the curry there because that's the flavor I need. It's that kind of concept, you know. You're a multidimensional being that loves to play in all types of scenarios, and the humanoid is one of the most limiting that we have available. It's the farthest away from source we almost go. There's one other planet that's a little further, and it's, you know, it's fun, but it's not quite as adventurous as the Earth one is. Did I answer you, darling? Did I go off in some little tangent that I've got?
Hopefully that's helpful for you, Cheryl. Feel free to put a message in the chat. So I felt it strongly up until late teens, still have it somewhat. Yep, I resonated with all that you said. Great. And so, Cheryl, this is my 2 cents as a alternative perspective. And An, please feel free to, to correct or to redirect what I'm saying. As a child, I never felt like I belonged. But I never aligned with the idea that I am focused on other planets. I feel very much attuned to this planet. It's a part of who I am. And so what happened in my experience is that when I was born with the blueprint of the earth that we are turning into, that we are becoming. And so what felt disaligned or misaligned with me was that the earth wasn't what I knew it could be. And because I was living in an earth that I knew wasn't the earth that it can be, I felt out of place. And so I was always very alone. I was always a solitary person. But if you ask me, am I an expert in human form? It feels like I am. I don't know if I've lived 500,000 plus years, but I love this planet. It's a part of who I am. I'm connected to this planet, but yet I follow a lot of the same comparisons that people talk about with regards to aliens that are coming into this dimension, because I had a blueprint of a world that isn't quite there yet. And so I wanted to bring that up again as a reference for others that might align with my perspective more so than the other perspective.
I like that. Thank you. I like that, because yes, I'm sure you're not the only one that felt it, because there was, you know, this was not just a little stamp of time that we all worked on. This has been an evolution going on for many years on the planet itself, and you still have many years to go. We don't want you all to get discouraged, because sometimes humans like to have everything now, and you see your own lifetime as such a limiter in time. And on a soul level, this evolution of all on this realm, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of components. And it's not just the humanoid that's at play. So we don't want you to feel discouraged if you're not seeing it in the now moments, just that immediate gratification that the humanoid prefers. Because on the soul level, the soul, ask your soul again to remind you and show you where you can see it actually having the impact that you wanted, having that new created earth in the now. Because there's parts of it already showing up. It's just that you get so caught up in the play that you miss moments. And that's the ones that are really getting everything into the anchored energy, is those moments.
It's easy for us to get caught up in the
If
noise.
it doesn't happen in the next 50 years, darling, do you understand? 50 years on a universal time frame is no different than 3 minutes. It takes you longer to boil an egg, right? So when something is as valuable as each of you, as the human collector, as the planet and her beautiful ecology, we don't want to rush things. We want the moments to build upon themselves. We want all of you to not only feel the heaviness of what's happening and what's changing, but to begin to rejoice in who you are and rejoice in the changes that you are creating for yourself, and rejoice in how that energy goes out and becomes and grows on its own, because energy does not go away. It is not the flame that you can just wipe out. It continues to grow. And if you're not the one watering it, the next person that comes along that's in that same feeling is going to begin to water that energy. And it's going to gain its momentum again. And perhaps you're being called to work in one area in the now. And 5 years later, 10 years later, you're doing something else. It's okay. It doesn't mean that work isn't continuing. It means that your team said, okay, darlings, that part is ready for the next wave to come in and pick up. Let's move you along into what your energy and your soul can do for the next part. Because everything is building upon itself. So don't feel like if you put the hammer down, there isn't another coming to pick it up. It's just your hammer is going down and a different hammer will be created. It may not hammer the same as you, but the changes, the ultimate goal is still going to be achieved.
Thank you for that.
If there's anything we could really want all of you to walk away with today in understanding, is that the universe, the planet, everything going on is serving you in the moment. You are the creator. You are the co-creator. You are the game changer on the field. And no matter whatever messages come from whatever channels, books, recordings, you name it, it doesn't matter. Because it comes down to you, the beautiful you that agreed to be there and execute a gorgeous life plan that we all get to learn and love. You are the love that we've all been waiting for. And the more that you see that in you, the more you can feel it from us. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Feel like a good place for us to bring our friend back. And so thank you for coming to play with us, all the energies that have been with us. It's really easy for us to get caught up in the noise and lose sight of the symphony that's happening at a more subtle level. And so for me, this is one of the things that I would love to kind of invite us all to just be patient with ourselves, be compassionate with ourselves and in our journey, and to listen for those subtleties that might be a little bit beyond the surface level experience. Welcome back. So I'm just going to speak a little bit while Shannon's coming back. Shannon sometimes takes a while to reconnect with her physical form after she's been underwater in a deep pool somewhere else. So hopefully this has been good information for you guys. It's always fun to play with the cool council and their wisdom.
Oh, wow.
You okay?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Margaret. Okay, so I'm going to reiterate this because Shannon's probably going to take a little bit of time to come back. Shannon's offering a year-long program where you can work directly with her. 6 months are focused on learning, exploring aspect, and then the following 6 months are more about kind of a mentorship relationship associated with that. It's incredibly reasonable as is, and Shannon is offering special rates and invitations beyond that, thinking that this is once a week for a year, or twice a week, sorry, every 2 weeks in the second half, once a week for the first half. The amount of time that's going into this from her side is completely undervalued in the price that she is offering this at. But so please, if you're interested and you align with her and her connection to spirit, please reach out, and I say play with us because I'll be there too, but play with Shannon, you know, sign up and join us on this exploration as we get a deeper understanding of ourselves and explore the different elements of what it means to be human, what it means to be spirit. This is my language, not hers, but this is what it is for me. And so invitation information is on the website. If you have any questions about how to reach out to her, again, there's a web page there. You can reach out to her. If you can't get her for whatever the reason, you can always reach out to me and I'll put you in contact. Anything that you would like to add before we bring this conversation to an end, Shannon? Okay, excellent. Thank you.
I'm like, bleh.
Yeah.
No, I am super excited about the class though. So yeah, I mean, just to have a little tidbit about, I mean, we're going to be doing everything from chakras and crystals and meditations and energy. If you've never tried healing work, there's going to be some of that. There's going to be some channeling. There's going to be some stuff, you know, so it's a lot of fun and play, because I've learned from spirit over the years that the more we get into the space of play with them, the easier it is for our human fears and blocks to dissolve and step back, for us to have a more interactive ability with them. So I'm super excited about it.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's definitely gonna be a lot of fun. All right, guys. So I'm gonna bring this conversation to an end. And then what's gonna happen next is I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and then I will come back and do the closing ceremony. And I wanted to do a channel for you guys. We'll see who's there, and I'll just kind of ask people once we come back into that before I start the recording again about people's availability, because I don't want to, you know, have an hour-long conversation if most people need to kind of go in 15 minutes. So I will touch base with you guys on that logistically before I start the recording again. So thank you all for being with us throughout the season. It's been an incredible season once again. Shannon, thank you for everything that you have shared and for connecting us with your amazing team, who is a part of us and who's always available to us. It isn't just her team. Reminder to everybody that's listening. But I will, leave you for now. And I will see you soon. Anything you'd like to say in closing, Shannon?
Thank you, everyone, for attending, and for those who listen to the replay. It's been an honor to be here today, and I hope to see you all next season.
So Shannon will be back in 2 seasons. So I skipped seasons. So Shannon is here for season 7. She will be invited to come back season 9. And so you will see her again in 2 seasons, unless I need to fill a gap, and she will help me fill in the gap. But so we will see her again in season 9. So thank you very much, Shannon. And for everybody that's with us live, thank you again for being here. It's been an honor playing in your physical energy. For those of you that are listening to us in the recording, it's been an honor playing with you in your energetic energy. And I cannot thank you enough for everything that you guys do and bring to this project. And so thank you very much. And that's getting me into the closing ceremony. So I will leave it for now. I'm going to stop the recording momentarily, and then I will resume the recording once we are back. So until next time, I will leave you with being spirit, being human, simply being from love. Bye-bye. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.